Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. So actor Bonko has finally responded to very damning SH allegations made by actress Nirvana Nokwe over the past weekend. Nirvana accused the actor of thrusting, which she says was not part of the script, therefore violating boundaries when they were shooting a rape scene for a Showmax series Red Ink. So yesterday, 18 May 2026, Bonko responded with 3 pages to these damning allegations. We are going to read every single page, so grab your soup, your coffee, whatever that makes you feel comfortable this winter. Okay, so the statement reads, I wish to address the allegations recently circulated by Ms. Nirvana Nokwe regarding an incident said to have occurred during the filming of Red Ink on 10 September 2023. I believe the allegations raised by Ms. Nokwe are serious and must always be treated with the serious nature they deserve, not only for Ms. Nokwe's sake, but for victims of SA in and out of the film and TV industry. I stand by victims of SA, however, I deny that I SA'd, thrusted upon, or committed any misconduct in respect to Ms. Nokwe and the production. The incident pertains to a fully clothed, violent stunt scene which was discussed beforehand, choreographed and rehearsed with Ms. Nokwe, director of photography, the director and stunt coordinator. In addition, prior to the scene being shot, a stunt double was offered for Ms. Nokwe, which she declined. Every action I performed on set that night was strictly in line with the script, the choreography agreed upon with the directors and stunt coordinator, and under the supervision of senior production personnel. The night in question, more than 12 crew members were present on set, including the director, script supervisor, lighting technician, stunt coordinator, producer, and sound and camera teams. At no point did any of these professionals observe or report any behavior resembling the allegations now being made. Because of the seriousness of the accusation, I requested and attended a meeting with the production team together with my agent the following day. The aim of the meeting was to raise my concerns and to ensure the matter was handled properly and respectfully. Notwithstanding this, I requested that a follow-up meeting be held to clarify what happened and agree on a way forward with a broader group of representatives. In this regard, on 30 November 2023, representatives from Red Ink Productions, Mnet, Swift, senior crew members, and both mine and Ms. Nokwe's respective agents viewed the unedited material. All parties confirmed that no thrusting, sexual misconduct, or criminal behavior occurred. The footage simply did not support the allegation. Following this, I assumed that the matter was put to rest. However, in May 2024, I was informed that Ms. Nokwe opened a criminal case against me with the South African Police Service. On 21 May 2024, I was interviewed by the investigating officers at the Braamfontein Police Station. I also provided a sworn statement to the events of 10 September 2023 and subsequent interventions. I became aware last year that the police investigated the matter, and after considering the facts, the authorities did not prosecute the matter. Throughout this process, I have genuinely tried to approach the situation with compassion. I have made every effort to understand the basis for Ms. Nokwe's allegations, even when they were deeply hurtful and unfounded. I recognize that she may be expressing distress about broader industry pressures, and I have tried to hold space for that possibility. But this attempt at understanding has come at a significant personal cost, not only to me. The concerns raised by Ms. Nokwe deserve proper attention, more so knowing that we live in a society that is plagued by sexual violence. I do not take that context lightly. However, these important issues cannot be advanced by placing false accusations at my feet. I am aware that similar allegations have been made by Ms. Nokwe against other actors and cast members in unrelated productions, and the pattern is deeply troubling. I believe that every performer has the right to raise concerns about their working environment. That right is important, but it's equally important that such concerns are directed to the correct structures and not unfairly projected onto individuals who have done nothing wrong. The past 2.5 years have been deeply painful. Being falsely accused of a sex crime is devastating for anyone, but as a husband and the father of a young daughter, the emotional toll has been indescribable. My family has suffered alongside me. My integrity, my career, and my role as a parent were all placed under a cloud because of an allegation that has been disproven by footage, by witnesses, and by the legal process. I remain committed to safe, respectful, and professional working environments for all performers. I support constructive industry reform platform if this is what is needed, but I will continue to defend my name, dignity, and reputation against unfounded accusations. I intend to fully exercise my legal rights in bringing this matter to finality. Okay, let's dissect. After reading those 3 pages by Bonko Khoza, plus the Google Drive documents that Nirvana shared on social media, I think these are some of the things that compromised her case. Number 1, Nirvana allegedly refused a stunt coordinator, saying she would be able to do the scene on her own. In other words, she could have avoided close contact with Bonko during the scene but opted not to. Now, someone on social media asked Nirvana if there was no intimacy coordinator present. Her answer was not a clear yes or no. In fact, she said this: the presence of an intimacy coordinator is not what makes something consensual or lawful. Consent is. Section 2.1 is very clear. A performer must be fully informed in advance and must explicitly agree to any nudity or sexual content. If that didn't happen, then the clause was breached, regardless of whether an intimacy coordinator was there or not. An intimacy coordinator is a safeguard, not a substitute for consent or compliance with the contract. But the question remains, was there an intimacy coordinator on set or not? And is Bonko's legal team correct in saying Nirvana declined a stunt coordinator, which would have prevented her from being in close contact with Bonko? Number 2, all parties watched the unedited footage and did not see any thrusting that Nirvana is accusing Bonko of doing. In my previous video, I said someone should be subpoenaed for the unedited video to be released, but if the unedited video was watched and there was still nothing pinning Bonko, then I see why the criminal case could not stick. Number 3, in the Google Drive documents Nirvana shared, her representatives kept emphasizing that Nirvana is not seeking punitive measures against Bonko and proposed that he provide a public letter of contribution acknowledging the impact of the incident and join her on a public campaign aimed at ensuring such incidents become a thing of the past. Now, why would you want to collaborate with a perpetrator on your campaign? I'm sure they'll say she's the one who was violated, so she can choose the recourse that satisfies her. Oh, godwa iyahlebisa. Oh, and if Nirvana was not seeking punitive measures, why was she at the police station in that recording? Number 4, Nirvana says the case did not get to court because witnesses refused to come forward. So no 2 or 3 nyana that were willing to testify. They couldn't even subpoena. Yeah, I think Nirvana and her representatives were all over the place. One moment they don't want punitive measures, just a written public apology and a campaign collaboration. Jiggy, they are at the police station. The unedited footage is not supporting her claims. Even worse, she allegedly declined a stunt coordinator who would have prevented close contact with Bonko Kuningi. Anyway, I'm going to part with this. If the allegations that Nirvana has made similar damning accusations against other actors and crew members in other productions are true, maybe she shouldn't do sex scenes altogether. It would be very odd for all those actors she's accusing to cross boundaries in front of the whole team, including an intimacy coordinator, maybe 1 or 2 actors, but all of them. I was watching Katlego Danke and Renette Sturman the other day, and they said they have a clause against sex scenes, and they've had it since day 1 of acting. They don't do sex scenes at all, yet they've been employed for over 30 years. I think Nirvana should maybe have something like that. I mean, on Red Ink, she wasn't just doing a sex scene, but a whole grape scene, which is even more intense. Other people on social media put it perfectly. One person said, I don't want to sound like I'm defending men even when they are wrong, but these kind of scenes are not for everyone. I'm sure there's a girl who wasn't going to see it like this. We don't know people's traumas and triggers, so her feelings are valid, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was exactly like that. This person is onto something. For instance, Homozo Christopher is one of my favorite actresses, and that lady doesn't seem like she minds ama sex scenes. She nails ama sex scenes. I remember she had a role where she had to use a dance pole, and she said something about rehearsing that scene with her husband at home. Another person that put it very nicely said, filming intimate or assault scenes can be extremely uncomfortable and emotional, and everyone on set deserves to feel safe and respected. At the same time, acting often involves intense, high-pressure moments where actors are trying to make scenes feel realistic, which can sometimes blur boundaries if communication isn't completely clear beforehand. And that's why consent, choreography, and intimacy coordinators are so important. If these types of scenes consistently leave you distressed or uncomfortable, it may be worth considering whether taking on sexual or intimate roles is the best fit for your well-being and boundaries. Anyway, do let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.